September afternoon here in Ann Arbor. It's Big Ten Network football presented by John Deere. The Miami Redhawks out of the Mid-American Conference in town taking on the Michigan Wolverines. Lisa Byington is down on the field moments ago. She caught up with Michigan head coach Brady Hoke.
Eric, thank you. Well, Coach, this is your chance to respond from the Notre Dame game. What did you like about your team in preparation this week?
Well, I think we had great preparation. I think the hard work and everything the kids did came in ready to compete and challenge, and that's the way we're going to get better as a football team.
Devin Funchess not dressed here today. What is the latest with him?
He'll be all right. You know how injuries are.
I thought you might say that, but how does this offense, how is it affected without him here today?
We've got guys who are here on scholarship who are pretty good football players. They need to go down. One man goes down, another guy's got to step up.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah, it should be fun to see how everything develops this afternoon from the Big House. With my partner, Marcus Ray, I'm Eric Collins. Looking forward to talking some ball with you. Let's talk about last week. Obviously, some disappointment with Michigan. What do you expect to see today out of the Wolverines?
I want to see how the Michigan Wolverines can bounce back after that devastating 31-0 loss. They practiced hard all week, and the coaches feel like that this team is built to respond. Last year's team may have folded, but I want to see, can they eliminate the negative plays, the miscues, and the turnovers?
And I want to talk about number 98. Devin Gardner, what do you want to see out of him this afternoon?
I want to see some consistency. Can Devin Gardner take care of the football? His offensive line did a great job of protecting him for the most part last week. But what he needs to do is make great decisions with the football and do not let the defensive coverages disguise and throw him off.
Take a look at the Auto Owners Insurance impact players. You already mentioned Devin Gardner. Who else should we look at when Michigan has the football?
Well, everything starts with Devin Gardner, but the running game is going to be very important. Derek Green is a guy who had a big week one, but on the other side, you see Kent Kern, he's going to be hawking Derek Green down. Now, when Miami has the football, their Notre Dame quarterback transfer, Andrew Hendricks, he's off to a great start. His favorite target, David Frazier's averaging more than 100 yards per contest. Frank Clark's going to have to do a great job of getting some pressure on Andrew Hendricks.
All right, here we go. First time these two schools have met since 2008. And we've got football weather here. Temperatures in the low 60s, but it is a nice blue sky. We're not expecting any precipitation. Perfect conditions for college football. Miami, they won the toss. They have deferred the decision to the second half. Michigan will start on offense. Short spinning kick taken on the run by Dennis Norfleet. And Norfleet zigging and zagging. Norfleet across the 40. And he's thrown out of bounds at midfield.
That's how you want to start off a football game after a devastating loss. Special teams are going to always play a major factor when you're trying to bounce back. Norfleet takes the kick. He reverses field, set up the block. This was a designed return right. You see Khalid Hill getting a great block. Justice Hayes staying in his lane. Norfleet got this offense started in a major way.
Norfleet, a huge part of what the Wolverines are trying to do. They're looking for more explosion on offense. He can provide. Derek Green deep in the backfield behind Devin Gardner. Tight formation, and this is Green. Swarmed and brought down after a short gain. Jatarius Jones and Kent Kern combine on the tackle.
First down has been a major key for Michigan. They want to get more yards on first down, but Devin Gardner, you see in week one, 13 completions, 19 in week 2. They don't want Devin to have to win this football game. Nussmeier said he wants to help Devin more. He didn't do that as much as he would have liked to last week. We'll see if Michigan can get it done on second down.
18th career start for Devin Gardner.
On the right, on the right, on the right, on the right.
Another run on second down. Green, another crack at it. And it'll bring up third down. Bryson Albright with the tackle. Just getting started here. Take a look at our principal financial group edge to the game, Marcus Ray.
Edge for the game is going to be Michigan needs at least 450 yards of total offense. They need a balanced attack, 250 passing, 200 rushing. They're a different team at home when they get at least 400 yards.
It's a lofty goal. Third down and 4 after a couple of runs. Justice Hayes now into the game. And the pass is caught. Nice catch going out of bounds. That'll be a first down for Michigan.
Excellent call on third down. Devin Gardner finding his backside wide receiver, Mario Jones. Excellent route. When you see a wide receiver backside by himself on third down, if I'm a defensive back, Marshall Taylor, he should have known the ball was going that way.
First catch of the year for Mario Jones. So looking for production from other sources with no Devin Funchess in the game. Designed rollout on the run. Gardner, another pitch and catch. J.U. Chesson with the grab.
Nussmeier wants to get positive yards on first down. Play action pass down in the red zone. Red area is huge. And without Devin Funchess on the field today, Michigan's going to mix it up and get it to a lot of receivers. Watch the play action fake. Magnuson pulls to secure the edge, and you want to get Devin Gardner on the perimeter with the run-pass read. Great throw, great catch.
Wolverines now in the red zone, where they are a perfect 6 for 6 on the year. They've scored touchdowns 5 of the 6 times they've gotten inside the 20. Green looking for room. His best run of the day. Down to the 10.
Great job on the left side of that offensive line. Mason Cole, Eric Magnuson doing a great job of sealing that left side, kicking out the defenders. And Derek Green does a great job of getting up the field, protecting the football. He says he wants to make more guys miss. Excellent tackle right there by in the open field.
Didn't want to make Jay Maston miss. He went right at him. Green 7 yards behind the quarterback Gardner. And the ball's loose. Green jumps on it. A mistake early for Michigan.
And those were the miscues I was talking about. Last week when Michigan moved the football, their fumbles stopped their drives last week. Devin Gardner took his eyes off the ball. He didn't secure it from the center. Heads up play by Derek Green to jump on the football. And now they go to third and medium instead of possibly a first down or a short yardage situation.
Negative yardage plays have just been killing the Michigan Wolverines. On third down, Justice Hayes back into the game. 4 receiver set. Gardner with plenty of time, and the pass is knocked away. He's looking for Khalid Hill, but Jay Maston stepped in and knocked it away.
Excellent man-to-man coverage by Jay Maston. Took a while for the route to develop. Khalid Hill runs the out cut, 5-yard out, but in the red zone, you have to undercut wide receiver pass patterns and give Maston a lot of credit right there. That could have been a turnover the other way. Now the Wolverines have to settle for a field goal.
This is an important field goal attempt for Matt Weil. He has struggled so far this year. 29-yarder. And it's good. Maybe the confidence will go up a little bit for Matt Weil. What started with a 42-yard kickoff return for Norfleet results in a 29-yard field goal for Matt Weil. 1 possession into the game, 3-0 lead for Michigan.
Football on BTN is presented by John Deere Gator Utility Vehicles. Own a special edition Midnight Black Gator. Visit your dealer today before they're gone. And brought to you by the Principal Financial Group, proud sponsor of the Big Ten Conference.
Now, some things never change. Saturdays in the fall, Michigan Stadium, special.
This is a special place to be. A lot of tradition. I played in this stadium. I actually played against Miami in 1995. And they gave us a ball game. We were up 31-0. They stormed back 31-19. We had to put our starters back in. And the Red Hawks, they're a team that'll fight you. And that was a win for their defense that last possession.
Alongside Marcus Ray, I'm Eric Collins. A squib kick. That'll stay in the field to play. They want Scott has it, and he's met with force at about the 18-yard line and goes down in a hurry. Return of 15 yards for Scott. And here comes fifth-year senior quarterback Andrew Hendricks, actually a grad student. He's already graduated with a pre-med degree from Notre Dame, now playing 1 college season for the Red Hawks.
Yeah, he just wanted to play college football. That's why he transferred from Notre Dame. He followed Coach Martin to Miami University. Now he gets an opportunity to play. He's obviously a great quarterback. He's off to a fast start.
We are expecting Jabril Peppers, true freshman out of New Jersey, to play at some point today for Michigan. He was announced as one of the starters on the scoreboard earlier today, but he is not on the field right now. Maybe just a formation thing for the Wolverines. Paul Moses, the first carry of the day from Miami. Doesn't go very far. Marcus Ray, the principal financial group, edge to the game defensively for Michigan.
The edge for Michigan defensively today is going to be, can they create 3 turnovers? They've yet to turn the football over in week 1 and week 2, but today is the day they've decided we need to get some turnovers to get that defense going. That's what the coaches feel like. That was their mentality all week, is that defense needs to create turnovers.
And Miami a little bit loose with the football a week ago. 6 turnovers for the Red Hawks. They want Scott in motion. They hand it to him, but the play's whistled dead.
False start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Dan Capron, today's referee. That's going to be against Miami, and he'll march him back 5 yards. Colin Buchanan, sophomore from Detroit, called for the penalty.
See the offensive lineman, his hand twitched right there. And Chuck Martin does not like those type of plays. Last week, 6 turnovers for this offense. He felt like they played sloppy, and now they start off with a penalty.
And another penalty.
Delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Chuck Martin knows a thing or two about winning football. Spent the last handful of years in South Bend as an assistant to Brian Kelly with the Fighting Irish. But before that, he won 2 national championships at Grand Valley State over in Allendale, Michigan. This is a guy who has a tremendous record as a head coach, 74-9. Now trying to figure things out with the Red Hawks. Hendricks passed. Oh, that's turned over. It's picked off by Jordan Lewis.
That's a big play for Lewis. 2 pass interference calls last week. Talked to Roy Manning before the game. He felt like the defensive backs needed to step up. Look at the inside leverage position. He goes up, catches the football, stays in bounds. Jordan Lewis is a kid that's going to play a lot of football this season. And when you get it, we just talked about the edges of the game for Michigan is that they need turnovers, and there's one right there.
They had not had a turnover in the first 2 games, but 6 minutes into this one, already a turnover. Jordan Lewis getting the start, replacing Raymond Lewis. Check that, Raymond Taylor, who is not dressed for today's game. Joe Carriage goes in motion. Play action. Gardner in trouble. Gonna have to duck and run. Good stiff arm, and he picks up 5, maybe 6. Kent Kern on the tackle.
This area of the field is where offensive coordinators like to take a shot. It's a great stiff arm by Devin Gardner on the perimeter. Kent Kern, we talked about him earlier, may have got away with a little bit of a face mask, but he has the athleticism on this Miami defense to track Devin Gardner down. Great play on both sides of the football for the offense and the defense.
Kent Kern Jr. from Toledo, Ohio, second-team All-MAC a year ago. Probably the most decorated defender for the Red Hawks. Derek Green into the secondary. Tackled at the 24 by Jarrell Jones, but a pickup of 8.
Pickup of 8. That's the outside zone play. Michigan likes to run this play to the left side. Mason Cole does a good job of sealing the edge. A.J. Williams with the kick-out block creates a huge hole for Derek Green to go through. Give Miami credit for making that play in the open field because that play could have gone for a lot more yards.
They split the fullback, Joe Carriage, top of your screen. Gardner, pass down in the flat, it's complete. Chesson, he's now got 2 grabs here in the first quarter, pick up a 5.
See, on first down, Michigan wants, this is their way of staying out of long yardage situations, is to get 4 or 5 yards on first down. And normally they like to throw the inside receiver a quick out, something simple. Now they can play a manageable 2nd and 5 on offense, but Miami really wants to try to tighten that up.
Green rides that handoff, and he's met by that front wall. Bryson Albright, the tackle, a gain of 2. It'll bring up 3rd down and short.
It's an excellent play by Bryson Allwright to squat and squeeze off the edge. Last year he had 11.5 tackles for loss. He's a guy that they move around up front. He will, on third down situations, move to the inside to a defensive tackle and isolate on one of those guards. So look for him in pass rush situations to play a different position.
Jake Butt into the game and one of the tight end spots actually split out. Bottom part of your screen. Gardner goes the other way. The slant's caught. It is a touchdown, Darbo!
Mara Darbo in the slant route.
That's how you do it. Gardner to Darbo.
Excellent move at the line of scrimmage by Darbo. Defensive back, Quentin Rollins did not play with great technique. He got beat inside. Great throw and catch for Michigan.
Matt Weil already a field goal and an extra point. It is a 10-0 lead for the Wolverines. Twice they started drives with good field position, and twice they've been able to score against Miami. 10-0 for the locals. Michigan on top of Miami. Marcus, on that touchdown, what did you see?
Well, what I noticed that the Miami defense were playing zero coverage. That means everyone on the field is playing man-to-man, and now they leave the middle of the field wide open. And now that's where the defensive back Rollins got beat. When you play zero coverage, you can't give up inside leverage. Darbo makes a great move, great throw and catch. Devin Gardner recognized zero coverage, and that's why he made that throw.
No Devin Funches today, and already contributions from Darbo, Chesson, Demario Jones, Dennis Norfleet. It's been a communal effort. Weil, big leg. His kickoff caught at the 7-yard line by Scott. This time started a little bit better than he did his last time, out to the 25-yard line. That's where Andrew Hendricks and the Redhawks will begin their second drive. There comes a flag down late. That was well after the play was whistled dead. There was some pushing and shoving going on.
After the play, there were 2 dead ball fouls, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 31 on Miami, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 47 on Michigan. Those fouls offset. First down.
Krishan Dupuis for Miami and Jake Ryan for the Wolverines. And there's the hand to the face of Jake Ryan, and then a little bit of an uppercut. Jake Ryan didn't like it, and they both are penalized.
Yeah, it's getting a little chippy out there. Both teams need to maintain their poise and discipline.
Second time the Redhawks have had the ball. Paul Moses remains in the game as the tailback next to Hendricks. Showing blitz. Oh, free man misses Hendricks, who just throws it away. That was Jordan Lewis unabated to the quarterback. He timed that snap beautifully.
Yeah, that was a cobra blitz off the edge, and give Andrew Hendricks a ton of credit for getting rid of the football. Jordan Lewis can't lose contain right there. Hendricks will hurt you with his feet. Great coverage downfield for Michigan. But this is the type of defense Miami was expecting to see from Michigan.
Hand off the middle of the line, and Moses brought down. A flag is down on the field.
Holding. Offense. Number 65. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
So another penalty goes against Chuck Martin's Miami Redhawks. Last week, Michigan, they had a hard time doing much of anything, but one thing that they were proud of, their run defense was really good.
Yeah, their run defense was pretty stout. They left a few plays on the field, but that's what Greg Madison wants to do as a coordinator. Stop the run and don't give up the big plays. They just gave up the big plays, but they stopped the run. Michigan
actually outgained the Fighting Irish in that game, yet they were shut out 31-0. Just an odd box score. Pitch and catch, best throw of the day by Hendricks. Out to the 29-yard line on that reception.
That That's where Miami feels like they have an advantage. Is in between the hash marks, running those short, quick outs, and those are the type of plays they need on second down.
Greg Madison. His defense has already forced a turnover for the first time here in 2014. Third down and 6.
Look for Michigan to play a little cover 4, quarters coverage here.
Hendricks in trouble. He goes down. Byers got him.
Byers. Sack last week. Another sack right there. Got up the field. Stayed after the quarterback. Tight end. Alex Welch. He struggled last week in pass protection, and Michigan felt like that he was a guy that Byers could beat one-on-one and not have to blitz.
Christian Cook to punt it away. And it's a low kick. Fielded on the run by Norfleet, who skips out to the 50-yard line. Looked like there was nothing there at all, but Norfleet returns it 7 yards. Brandon Byers been doing this for a while. A 12-yard sack. Michigan's got the ball on offense when we return. The day just gets started around the Big Ten Network. Coming up tonight, rivals meeting as Big Ten opponents for the very first time when Christian Hackenberg leads Penn State into a primetime showdown with Gary Nova and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. It all begins with a special live pregame show from the stadium. That's tonight at 6:30 Eastern on BTN and BTN to go. Penn State and Rutgers been playing football against each other for a long time, but this is the first time as both members of the Big Ten. Davion Smith now in at the tailback. Third drive of the day for Michigan. And believe it or not, this is actually the worst starting field position for the Wolverines so far this afternoon. Let's go down to the field. Lisa Byington.
Eric, I was watching Devin Funchess actually celebrate on Michigan's touchdown. He got so caught up in the moment that he found himself out on the field, and immediately the support staff told him to get back. So his mode to retreat quickly back was to hop on his left foot, presumably his good leg, hop all the way back to the sideline. And I have noticed that he is just favoring that right side with a slight limp back and forth as he's walking down here.
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah. Michigan next week, they got Utah. Things are starting to happen quickly. You're going to need to have Devin Funchess on the field because he is a real game breaker. This is what he did a couple of weeks ago against App State.
Great move down the seam. He's a hard guy to bracket. He runs well, long strider. He catches the ball with his hands. Then he'll punish you after the catch right there with the stiff arm. And he can defeat 2 defenders if need be. Goes up high, catches the ball at his highest point, and this offense hasn't missed a beat so far without Devin Funchess today, but they'll need him moving forward.
Third down back, Justice Hayes in the backfield next to Devin Gardner. Third down and long. Gardner in trouble, immediately has to leave the pocket. Throws on the run, incomplete.
Great job by the Miami defense of getting pressure on Funchess, forcing him out of the pocket. And once a quarterback gets rolling, he has to get his shoulder square. Great pressure right there. Excellent coverage. That's a hard throw to make. Rolling to your right and your wide receiver, Demario Jones. He didn't get a chance to come back at the proper angle. It's great defense for the Red Hawks.
First time today we've seen Will Hogrum come on and punt it away. Close to 42 yards per punt in his Michigan career. David Frazier lets it bounce on by, and maybe that's a mistake. It's going to be down at the 7-yard line. A punt of 43 yards with no return. Weeknights join the conversation on BTN Live. It's the most comprehensive nightly college football discussion from the guys who love to talk about the game. BTN Live, weeknights at 6 Eastern on BTN. And again, we see a yellow flag down on the field.
When you see a flag in this type of situation, it's probably a...
There is no foul on the play. First down.
No foul. A lot of times you see a block in the back or a guy holding, but on most fair catches, when the ball bounces, there shouldn't be any contact. Great call by the officials.
So the third offensive possession for Andrew Hendricks and the Miami Redhawks. Spencer McInnis into the game. Redshirt sophomore getting an opportunity. And that pass is caught. Wow, way to thread the needle. Jared Murphy with his first catch. And that's a pickup of 21.
Big catch for Murphy in traffic. Andrew Hendricks threads the needle right down the seam. Good throw and catch, and that's where Miami's offense is most successful, is when they attack linebackers and find holes in the defense, and then they'll lull you to sleep and throw the ball over your head.
First down by Miami. Here's a chance for McInnis. Met in the hole by Jake Ryan, and immediately he goes down.
Excellent read by Jake Ryan. He read his keys well, got downhill in the run lane for a short gain, first and 10. Stayed square, wrapped up, helmet right to the side. Exactly what you want for a textbook tackle. Great job, Jake Ryan.
Another chance for McInnis. This is a fun game for him. He's from the Detroit area, went to St. Mary's Prep, knows a lot of guys on the Michigan team. He's getting a chance to have some hometown bragging rights.
A lot of these kids know each other. They played for West Side Cubs, a Little League organization in Detroit, formerly Larry Foote, Braylon Edwards. All those kids know each other.
Third down and 7. Joe Bolden showing blitz. Now he backs off. Here comes the blitz. Ryan's free, and Hendricks has to throw it away. Jake Ryan in the face of the quarterback. That play was doomed from the get-go.
Greg Madison wants to send pressure on third down. He moves guys around, and sometimes you never know who's coming. Jake Ryan blitzing from depth. It's off the line of scrimmage, times it up well, and it opens up. Bayer did a great job of opening that seam, extending the tight end, and Jake Ryan came free.
Both the Ohio linebackers, Ryan and Bolden, on the blitz that time. And that's going to be punt number 3 coming up for Christian Cook in Miami. This one a nice kick. Out of bounds at the 27-yard line. 40 yards. And this will be Michigan's worst starting field position. And it's still not all that bad. They're going to start at the 28-yard line. Now, Michigan over the years, so many wonderful players. Good old number 72, Dan Deerdorf, one of the greatest linemen, not only ever in Michigan history, but one of the greatest offensive linemen in the history of the game. In a couple of Hall of Fames, pro football and in college football, and he's here in the building today this season. Dan Deerdorf, he is on the radio crew for the Wolverines. Each and every game he rolls into town, and what a treat it is to see him around press boxes and to listen to his voice on Saturday afternoons. Dan Deerdorf, one of the most knowledgeable basketball or football people around. There he is in the white shirt. What a treat it was. I was in the elevator with him coming up to the press box today, and
Deerdorf
made my day.
Yeah, he's a great guy, man. He's a better person than he is a player, and that says a lot. Yeah, he's had a great career in the booth and on the field.
Davion Smith does a little bit of dancing. Kent Kern and others bring him down.
Saw Michigan run the play action on first down, complete the pass, and they come back on the next first down and run the ball up the middle. But the Miami defensive line, up front, Jimmy Rauscher, number 58, those guys are plugging that middle. Michigan struggling to run the ball.
Doug Nussmeier, first season here in Ann Arbor. One of the great young minds in the college game. Wolverines closing in on 100 yards of total offense here in the first quarter. Smith, the misdirection. He's got the first down. Using that 220 pounds well to get to the marker, a pickup of 12 yards.
Big run for Davion Smith, off tackle play. I think Michigan has more success when they down block and bring guys around. And It's called a gap scheme. It creates more running lanes, and he's an in-between-the-tackle running back.
A speedy first quarter is in the books, and it is all Michigan. They wanted to get their offense in gear. They wanted to get a turnover on defense. Put a check mark next to both categories. A 10-0 lead through 15 minutes for the Michigan Wolverines over Miami. Welcome back, everyone. Start of the second quarter. Big Ten Network football brought to you by John Deere. 10-0 lead for Michigan, trying to rebound from a loss a week ago against Notre Dame. With Marcus Ray and Lisa Byington, I'm Eric Collins. Devin Gardner, 5 of 7. But impressively, all 5 of his completions to wide receivers. Big play possibilities there. Gardner wants another big play. Looking to the end zone. Intended for Darbo.
Great job by the offensive line of giving Devin Gardner a chance to go through his progressions. But he had Jake Butt wide open across the middle. I know Doug Nussmeier wants to get more explosive plays, but you have to take what the defense gives you. And that offense would have had a big completion if Gardner would have found Jake Butt.
Second down and 10. Two tight end formation. Smith is the tailback. They give it to him. And he's spun down right at the line of scrimmage. Kate Kern and Jatarius Jones. It's actually going to be a loss of a yard. That's been an issue. Negative plays for Michigan.
Michigan gets behind the sticks too often. Behind the sticks means 3rd and long. 2nd and 2 sticks. Right there, Miami's defense did a great job of scraping down the line, led by Joe Donlin. Number 46, the middle linebacker. That was a great play, getting over top of the blocks and shooting the gap.
So it's now 3rd down and 11. 3rd down back, Justice Hayes. They fake it to him. Gardner, plenty of time. Line drive, it's caught out in space. Give the catch to Darbo. And the ball comes loose late. And the Redhawks say they have it. It is indeed Miami ball. A fumbled by Darbo, and it's Miami football.
Good throw and catch for Michigan, but what a play by Rollins to knock that football loose. You see Kent Kern scooping the football. That's why you run to the football. Even when you get beat, good things can happen when you run to the football. In Michigan has a lack of ball security right here in traffic. Darbo needs to hold on to the football.
Further review. The ruling on the field was a reception, a fumble, recovered by the defense.
And turnovers and scoring plays all looked at especially long in the college game nowadays, and they're going to take a long look at this. It looked as if Darbo had the knee down before the football came out.
Yeah, now that we looked at the replay, Eric, it's going to be a close one. That left knee may have got to the ground before that ball comes out. Right there. Ball comes out after the knee hits the ground. So take another look at it.
And the call on the field was a fumble, so you need indisputable video evidence to overturn it. To me, that's indisputable. The knee is down.
After further review, the play stands as called on the field. First down, Miami.
I've been wrong a lot over the years. They did not have indisputable video evidence to overturn the call.
Yeah, that was a close one, and it has to be indisputable. I mean, no doubt. I mean, or it has to be clearly the other way. The officials have a better view than we have, Eric. That's why they're wearing the stripes.
So the first turnover of the day by Michigan. And Miami has the football back, trying to get that offense in gear. Their first possession of the second quarter. Hendricks, his pass is complete. David Frazier with the grab. And there's a flag down on the field again. Tackle is made by Jabril Peppers, who's into the game.
Peppers didn't play last week.
Ineligible receiver downfield. The offense was covered. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
So that's a formation issue for Miami.
Left left side of that offensive formation had the third receiver covered up. And when you're covered up, you can't go out for a pass. That makes you ineligible.
Jabril Peppers still in the game. Number 5, the true freshman from East Orange, New Jersey. Hendricks going right after him. And that pass is incomplete. Frazier was lined up with Peppers, and that time Peppers wins the battle.
Let's take a look at Peppers' technique. Good footwork at the line. He turns and runs, and you do not look back till the ball's in the air or you're in leverage, in phase position. Great coverage for the freshman. That's a tough ball to complete. Good throw by Hendricks on the back shoulder. Peppers, man-to-man bump and run coverage is his specialty.
Second down and 15. They fake to Moses. Hendricks' pass right on the money. Wow, that was a nice slant caught by a sliding Rokeem Williams. 14 yards.
Rokeem Williams, he's had a pretty good year so far, too. Right here, he runs the slant and off coverage. Jordan Lewis, and the play action is what took the linebacker out of the seam to open up that window. Great call, great route combination by the Red Hawks.
Let's see if Miami has the confidence to play power football on 3rd down and 1. This is not a power formation. And we've got a flag before the ball snapped.
False start. Offense. Number 72. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Second penalty today against Colin Buchanan, the right tackle for Miami.
That's Buchanan. He moved. When you lined up against Frank Clark, you know he's coming on 3rd down. You still have to maintain your discipline.
Marcus Ray, listen to this. Miami, 5 penalties. 4 of them have been pre-snap penalties on the offense.
And that'll beat you every time. You can't beat yourself.
3rd down, design rollout. Hendricks, nobody open. Has to throw it away.
Good pressure by the Michigan defense on the rollout. Miami wants to get Hendricks on the perimeter a little bit more to stop that rush up the middle. It's hard to pass rush a quarterback when he's on the move. Great coverage by Michigan. Once again.
Christian Cook to punt it away. Norfleet back deep for the Maize and Blue. Oh, Norfleet playing with fire. That ball spinning towards his feet. It is downed after a 46-yard punt. Special afternoon here in Ann Arbor. Challenger, the Bald Eagles, making an appearance pregame. There have been some wonderful players at Michigan, and a lot of them wore number 1. Anthony Carter back in the early 80s. Derek Alexander could go get it. Braylon Edwards, no one caught more passes as a Wolverine than him. Braylon Edwards is going to join us in just a moment. How about that for a tease? First down and 10 for Michigan. Derek Green, the tailback, they give it to him, and Green tackled after a gain of just 2. As promised, Braylon Edwards, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you stopping by.
Well, thanks for having me.
What are you doing nowadays?
Trying to get some commentating. Trying to be like this guy one day.
You just finished playing a year ago. You're still living in the area, right?
Well, technically, I'm in West Bloomfield. This is the first year that I was not participating of a training camp.
And you still have a Big Ten connection. Your brother's doing good things over in Minnesota.
He's doing well. My younger brother, Berkeley, is at Minnesota. And he had 2 touchdowns 3 weeks ago. Hurt his shoulder, but he'll be back next week.
I happened to do a Minnesota game a couple of weeks ago, and everyone's talking about Berkeley's speed. Made me wonder, who's the fastest Edwards in the family nowadays? That ball is picked off. Quentin Rollins has the interception. That is now back-to-back turnovers for Michigan.
Great coverage right there by Quentin Rollins, the former basketball player. Maintained his leverage and read the quarterback. See right here, the ball's overthrown. Receiver was in traffic. That's a dangerous football pass right there.
Ball might have been caught. Looked like it went right through his arms.
Chesson, the young receiver, shaking up a little bit. it's hard to catch a ball. Braylon, did you catch any balls in traffic? I don't think I recall that.
You know, I think you're mistaken. I definitely caught balls in traffic dealing with Chad and John.
That ball was tipped at the line, fellas.
Okay, there
so
it
we
is.
should give credit to where credit was due. It looked like a defensive lineman tipped that.
He took a hit anyway, so.
So Miami, by far, their best starting field position after the interception and going for the quick hitter. How often do we see that? After a turnover, you go for a big play.
You have to. It gives the offense momentum. You come and get a turnover, then the offense goes with a big play. It gives you momentum. It gives your team a drive in a situation that you can build from.
After a turnover right here, excellent route. Good throw and catch in traffic. You see the opposite right there. Miami makes the reception, or Michigan doesn't make the reception on the last offensive possession in traffic.
It seems that the quarterback has kind of really gotten to a groove over the last couple of series. Started off slow, but I like what he's doing now.
Andrew Hendricks, graduate student, already finished up his undergraduate work at Notre Dame. On first down, look into the end zone. Oh, my! Wow. That was almost the catch of the year.
Something about that right corner, huh? That's something about that right corner.
That was a great effort by Frazier.
Hey, tell me about a fade route. What's the key to running a good fade route?
Well, the key is you got to get good release. A lot of times, guys, they run a fade route. They're so eager to get to the end zone. They're so eager to get to the ball. They forget to get a release and sell the DB, creating more separation. Once you get involved with the DB, then you have to put them on your hip pocket so that you create space on the sideline to be able to make that catch and get feet in bounds. Definitely.
So second down. Ball on the ground. That is Scott. They want Scott, one of the receivers, to use him out of the backfield. It'll bring up a third down. For those of you that forgot, Braylon Edwards, pretty darn good. Over 250 catches for the Maize and Blue, and a lot of them going long ways.
That first play you showed was actually Chad Henne's very, very first touchdown pass as a collegiate quarterback, and it happened against, who else? The Miami Redhawks.
Good memory. You hadn't even seen that video before. You just remembered it.
I'm young. I mean, hey, I still got years left.
Third down and 6. Spencer Treadwell is now the tailback. And Treadwell looking for room. Doesn't find it.
Great stop by the Michigan front. Miami just wants to center the football up so that they can get a heads-on, straight lined up field goal attempt and get some points on the board. After that successful drive, you want to reward your offense and not take any risks down in the red zone.
Yard field goal to get the Redhawks on the board. Caleb Patterson. And the kick is good. Braylon Edwards, we appreciate you stopping by and talking a little Maize and Blue with us.
Hey, thanks for having me. Let me know. I'm always in the area nowadays.
All right, we're going to take you up on it. Braylon Edwards joining us for a bit. Miami trying to make this a game. They have gotten within 7, 9:14 remaining, second quarter. Remaining here in our second quarter. Once again, we have more football coming your way next Saturday. The Spartans battling Eastern Michigan, or some will see Purdue and Southern Illinois, followed by Penn State and UMass. And then San Jose State and Minnesota. It's next Saturday on BTN and BTN to go. Quinn Rollins, his second interception of the season. Took it away from Devin Gardner and the Wolverines, and that set up the first score for Miami. A couple of giveaways for the Wolverines. 2 of them in their last 3 offensive snaps. Short kick, and the ball comes loose. That's live. Who's got it? It looks like Miami does, and they do. A short kickoff just kind of confused everybody. And a live football jumped on by Miami.
Great call by the Redhawks to catch the Wolverines sleeping on the kickoff return. Wyatt Schauman didn't look the football in. Contact, ball pops out. The Redhawks are the first 7 guys to the football. Little communication problem right there between Justice Hayes and Schauman. You have to make a call when the ball's in the air.
It's Paul Moses backup tailback who falls on the football. That's now 3 takeaways for Miami in the last 4 minutes and 50 seconds. And again, looking for a nice big play after the turnover. David Frazier the catch. That's a pickup of 10.
Excellent throw and catch. Andrew Hendricks finding his receiver in the boundary. When you see off coverage by a defensive back, most receivers will stop right in front of them. It's an easy pass.
Michigan was in the neutral zone, but able to get back. 5 of 11. Andrew Hendricks. Nobody open. Finally, it's his receiver, Frazier, coming back through the football. Makes something out of nothing, a pickup of 5.
Brandon Byer got a lot of pressure up the middle. Hendricks makes a good throw and catch. Frazier does a great job of coming back to the football. Jordan Lewis is going to have to stay with the wide receiver a lot longer in a scramble-type situation.
Michigan playing defensively without Ramon Taylor and Jared Wilson. Desmond Morgan also not dressed this afternoon. Second down run, trying to get to the perimeter. Treadwell finally cut down, but he's close to the first down marker. It'll bring up 3rd down and short.
Excellent cutback run for Treadwell. Great blocking up front. The Miami offensive lineman. Left guard, Davis. It's a great block. Create that running lane.
Spencer Treadwell is indeed the son of Don Treadwell, former assistant coach at Michigan State, and last year the head coach at Miami. 3rd down. Miami can get a first down without getting a touchdown. Throw to the end zone. Touchdown, Redhawks. Scott's got it. There's a flag down on the field, but I believe it's against Michigan.
We're going to wait and see. It looks like encroachment. A little too antsy up front.
Offside. Defense, number 34. The penalty is declined. Touchdown.
What do we have? Miami's lost 18 consecutive games, but they're a point of touchdown after tying this one up.
Miami took this page from Notre Dame's playbook a week ago. The speed out in the goal line because Michigan plays man-to-man coverage, and the same result took place.
Who would have thought? 10 points in the last minute and 50 seconds. And the game is tied at 10. There is a flag down on the field.
Running into the kicker. Defense, number 5. The penalty is declined. The point is good.
So after a first quarter that was all Brady Hoke and the Michigan Wolverines, the beginning of this second quarter has been owned by Chuck Martin and the Miami Redhawks. Extra point is good. A little running into the kicker does no damage. It's a 10-10 tie. 10-10 tie, 7:24 remaining in our first half. Marcus Ray, a lot of mistakes lately by Michigan.
Yeah, we talked about the miscues at the top of this game. You see right there, ball came out, fumble recovery, but right here, this throw and catch by DeJuan Scott, this is what Notre Dame did to Michigan last week. They lined up, spreaded them out on the goal line because Michigan's in man-to-man coverage. And the easiest throw for a quarterback is the speed out cut. It's hard to defend as a defensive back.
Another short kickoff. This time fielded cleanly. And out to the 34-yard line goes Khalid Hill. Let's go to Mike Hall back for a BTN studio update.
Eric, thanks. Out to Kinnick we go. The Cyhawks on the line. Jake Rudock. Remember, this is an Iowa team that's had 2 ugly wins, but they've got a 14-3 lead right at the end of the second half. Eric?
Mike thank you so much. Yeah, Iowa's still a perfect 2-0, but it's been tough getting to 2-0 heading into week number 3. Derek Green is the deep back. They fake it to him. Gardner with plenty of time. And a beautiful pitch and catch. Out in space across the 45-yard line goes Darbo. He has been the favorite receiver early for Gardner.
There's one of those explosion plays that Nussmeier talked about earlier in the week. He wanted to find a way to get the ball vertically down the field. Great job by Gardner, staying in the pocket. Good throw and catch for Darbo, and this Michigan offense needs more plays like this if they're going to win this football game.
Doug Nussmeier having to figure out how to get this offense in gear, playing without Devin Funchess, not dressed today. First down for the Wolverines here in the second quarter. Gardner goes down. Bryson Albright has been exceedingly active early in this one.
Albright gets up the field, makes a move on Ben Braden, beats him inside, stays after the quarterback. And that's a great defensive play for the Red Hawks after giving up a long pass.
If you watch number 95, Chuck Martin says, you know what, we're going to move him around to get the best matchup we feel with Bryson Albright. So if you watch where Albright is, he's lined up in front of who they think is the weak spot on that line for Michigan. Powering through the line, Derek Green. Green down to the 20. Great burst for the sophomore from Virginia.
Let's watch the hole from the inside, from the end zone. Good block by Magnuson. And these are the type of run blocking plays Michigan likes to run in this area of the field, because now the defense is getting attacked right down the middle, right down the teeth of the defense. We talked to Green yesterday. He says he likes running the ball inside. And we saw him break a couple of long runs against Appalachian State.
Green skips to the outside. He's got 10 more. Derek Green had all of 25 yards on 13 carries a week ago against Notre Dame. He is just gashing this Red Hawk defense now. He's got 8 carries for 62 yards here in the first half.
Offensive line blocking has been a problem as of late for Michigan, but right here on this series, you see they're starting to warm up. Derek Green's getting downhill, and that was a great cut to be able to see that backside vision.
Another red zone chance for the Wolverines. Green down to the 2.
Defensive coordinator for the Red Hawks, Matt Pawlowski. This is what he expected from the Michigan offense. He felt like Michigan was going to line up and just try to ground and pound and smash mouth the Miami front, because they felt like Michigan has an advantage up front, and now we're starting to see it.
Michigan. Yards by Derek Green, including a touchdown on this drive.
Just an off-tackle play up the middle. Michigan's offensive line doing a great job. The right side, Glasgow, Braden, getting a hat on a hat. Green, Green, and more Green.
So after getting a bit of a scare, Michigan goes back to their bread and butter. The power running game of Derek Green. They lead Miami 17-10. 4:26 remaining here in our first half. Michigan, a little bit of a scare from a winless Miami University team, but they have regained the lead. Power running by Derek Green. Now has a couple of touchdowns on the year. And Brady Hoke, a rare sighting, wearing a headset right now.
After a couple of turnovers and a scare from the Red Hawks, the headphones come out.
You think it makes a difference if a head coach wears a headset or not?
I really don't. Sometimes it's good so you know what's going on as far as all the calls. But that's Brady's style to not wear a headset. No one complains about it when they win ball games.
Here comes Scott. Slips down before he makes it to the 20-yard line. It's a very unique sideline for Michigan. Not only did Brady Hoke not wear the headset, but he's got both of his coordinators down next to them. No one is up in the booth. He's got Greg Madison and Doug Nussmeier, offensive and defensive coordinators, right there down on the field.
See the key plays of Michigan's last drive. Give the ball to Derek Green up the middle. Come right back the next play. Give it to him again. And a back like Derek Green needs 3 or 4 or 5 carries to get warmed up, get that motor running. He's a big back, and now he's in shape after he's lost a bunch of weight.
Jabril Peppers remains in the game at one of the corners. He's in the general vicinity as that pass is incomplete. Also should mention that Delano Hill getting a whole bunch of playing time, number 44 for Michigan. He's one of the safeties replacing Jared Wilson. As long as you got Brendan Byer out there, you're doing okay. Brendan Byer, he is today's United States Marine Corps leader of the game. 3.1 is the GPA. Twice he's been academic all Big Ten. He is a leader in the locker room. That's what the coaches say. Majoring in psychology. He's been steady Eddie ever since arriving here on campus.
Yeah, Coach Madison really loves Brendan Byer.
Jake Ryan picked up on that blitz. Hendricks has time. Can't find anyone open. Jabril Peppers on the coverage. Let's go down to the field. Lisa Byington.
Well, Eric, Brendan Byer is kind of the lead by example kind of guy on defense. And the field goal story on this team that maybe you don't hear about too often. Heavily involved in community service. He's worked hard to volunteer at a local community center, organizing some after-school activities. And then lately coaching a flag football team. A bunch of 4th graders. They had a good time. He was the D coordinator of that team. And he loved every minute of it.
Defensive coordinator of a flag football team.
Sure, that was a lot of fun. Impacting young lives.
Charge timeout. Miami, they're first.
Redhawks trying to stay in this one. They've got an important 3rd down and 10 they'll think about. See what it plays out in a moment. Miami University and their first-year head coach, Chuck Martin. The last couple of years as the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame, game planning against these Michigan Wolverines. Game planning with the Redhawks. Totally different personnel. 3rd down and 10. Hendricks in trouble. Nobody open. Forced out of bounds. And the punt team will have to come on.
Good pass rush. The Michigan defensive line getting Hendricks on the perimeter. Just take a look at the defensive pressure. Frank Clark, an athletic move.
Willie Henry's going to lose a shoe.
Yeah, Willie Henry, he's normally an inside guy. Right there, he was in contain, lost contain, but good pressure by Frank Clark, an athletic move.
Couldn't contain a shoe.
Jumped right out of it.
It'll be a 3 and out. Christian Cook to punt it away. Low kick. And Darbo actually stole it away from Norfleet. Stay tuned. Buffalo Wild Wings halftime report coming your way. Mike Hall, Stanley Jackson, Sean Merriman all belong from our Chicago studio. Scores and highlights from around the Big Ten. We have guys all over the Big Ten footprint. Dave Revson, Howard Griffin, Jerry DiNardo out of Piscataway. Getting ready for Rutgers, Penn State. Everyone being deployed.
Should be a great college football atmosphere at Rutgers this weekend.
1st down and 10. Gardner keeps it, crosses midfield.
Excellent tackle by Joe Conley, linebacker last week versus Eastern Kentucky. This play, the quarterback zone read keep, really hurt the Red Hawk defense. Right there, that was a great open field tackle by the Red Hawks, or else that would have been a huge game for Devin Gardner.
Michigan. You wanted 450 yards of total offense. They're about on pace.
They're on pace, almost halfway.
Green's been the feature back. No surprise there. Tackled by Donlin after a pickup of just 3. Going to bring a 3rd down and short.
The Miami defensive front, they're standing strong inside. They're going to continue to fight, even though Michigan's going to try to pound them down the middle. That front 4, they're pretty stout, and they have 2 pretty good linebackers. Kent Kern, 43, Joe Donlin. They are some tough guys. Brady Hope really was impressed with those 3 linebackers in our meeting this week.
3rd down and 2. 2 tight ends in the game for Michigan. This is Michigan of old right there. Just give it to your tailback 6 yards deep and barrel forward. That's a 1st down.
Awfully tough to play defense on 3rd and 2 because the offense can do several things.
You see that offensive line play. Much maligned offensive line. Everyone involved saying, you know what? It's young, but the communication's getting better. The consistency's getting better. This group, once they figure things out, a couple weeks down the road, they've got a chance to be really good.
They just need to play with more consistency. They did some things well last week. They just didn't do it well enough.
Gardner slings it up in space. Incomplete. Looking for Freddie Canteen, the true freshman from Delaware. Clock stops, 90 ticks remaining in our 1st half.
Last year, the Michigan offensive line missed a lot of blocks, missed assignments. This year, they look more in unison in the run and the pass. And there are times when Devin holds the ball too long. And then other times, the offensive line doesn't sustain their blocks, but they're playing as more of a unit this year.
Norfleet, the man in motion. Justice Hayes met at the line. 3rd down upcoming. Kent Kern with the tackle.
There goes that name again. Tough, hard-nosed linebacker out of Toledo. It's a junior.
Timeout. Michigan, their first 30-second timeout.
Well, timeout on the field. Back in just a moment. Still a close one here at the Big House. Michigan 17, Miami 10, 1:17 remaining in our 1st half. Alongside Marcus Ray and Lisa Byington, I'm Eric Collins. Game of spurts. First 10 points of the game scored by Michigan, and then multiple errors, allowing Miami right back into the game. We were tied at 10 for a while. And then a counterpunch by the Wolverines. A great drive capped off with a Derek Green touchdown run a moment ago. Give them the lead. 3rd down and 7. Gardner on the run. That's complete right at the marker. Freddie Canteen with the grab. It'll depend on the spot. It appears as if it's a little bit short.
Time's running out. Good route by the freshman Canteen. Good catch. He needs to understand where the sticks are.
And now a timeout called by Miami.
Charge timeout. Miami, their second 30-second timeout.
It's 4th down and 1. They did not give Michigan the 1st down. That was interesting. Wolverines get rushing up to the line. That would have been a fun play call. Figure out what they were going to do.
Oh, no, Chuck Martin was not going to let his defense get caught off guard or blindsided by a 4th down play. Good call by Nussmeier to get Gardner on the perimeter. He was expecting pressure from those 2 linebackers of Miami. Right down the teeth. Nussmeier knows. You know, he's the type of coordinator when things aren't working, he's going to find something. He knows his personnel right there to get Devin Gardner's confidence back going. Sprint out pass, very manageable throw. That's why you see play calls like that.
Marcus Ray, you were a 4-year starter as a defensive back at Michigan. Talk to me about the defense right now. What are they expecting out of this Michigan offense? What do they need to be careful of?
Well, on a 4th and inches, don't fall asleep on the back end. Play stout up front and just try to make the stop on 4th down.
And a flag.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
After the timeout called by Miami, Michigan slow to get the play off. And they're wondering if the play clock was reset properly.
Well, give Miami's defense some credit for not jumping on the hard count. That's another thing as a defense you expect in a short yardage situation. It's a hard time. Very disciplined.
Delay of game. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Yeah, look, the bottom left of your screen. So that's a tough way to have your 4th and 1 turn into a 4th and 6. Michigan's first penalty of the first half is going to cost them a chance at some points. The punt team will have to come on.
Those are those miscues we talked about. Drive-killing mental errors.
And Miami going to call another timeout.
Charge timeout. Miami, their 3rd and final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Chuck Martin, first-year head coach for Miami, won 2 national championships at Grand Valley State, and he said, you know what? It's amazing how many times games are made. Games are won or lost simply on mistakes. Better teams don't always win. The teams that make the fewer mistakes frequently are the winners. And we've seen a whole bunch of mistakes from both sides here in the first half.
Yeah, after last week's performance, 6 turnovers, 2 missed field goals, negative plays. Chuck Martin said today he just wants to see if his team can play Miami football and eliminate the mistakes and then let the chips fall where they may.
More than likely, Michigan just taking this penalty, hoping to get more room
Delay
for
of
the
game.
punter Hogger.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
So what had been 4th and 1 is going to go to 4th and 11.
That's what I was talking about. See, last week against Notre Dame, Michigan moved the ball well, right around the 35-yard line. They started to break down, found themselves in longer yardage situations, which allows them to leave points on the field.
There's no one back deep right now for Miami. No one to return this punt. Oh, my. There wasn't a soul within 25 yards in a Miami uniform to try and return that, and the ball sails into the end zone. It is a net of just 22 yards on the punt. The touchback will put it at the 20. No, this is how we got to 17-10 Michigan. Derek Green's been solid, 78 rushing yards, bouncing back from a subpar game a week ago against the Fighting Irish. But 3 turnovers for Michigan, giving confidence, momentum, and life to the Red Hawks.
4 turnovers a week ago. Chuck Martin said he felt like his team had a chance this week. The Red Hawks, if they could win the turnover battle.
Spencer Treadwell spun down by Jake Ryan. Miami with just 3 rushing yards here in the first half.
Michigan defense prides themselves on stopping the run. They just need that offense to protect the football. Much of some of the stuff we saw in the second half last week against Notre Dame, it's hard to score points. It's hard to get 400 yards of total offense when you give the ball to the other team and you beat yourself mentally with the penalties.
Difference between play clock and game clock is about 3 seconds. And that's going to do it for our first half of play. Of note, Miami is going to start with the football in the second half. So only down by a touchdown. Miami's got a chance to tie it with a touchdown when we begin our third quarter. This game is still totally in doubt. Stay tuned. Buffalo Wild Wings halftime report. Mike, Stanley, and Sean are coming up next. It's 17-10, Michigan on top at the break. Of Michigan football, only one time have the Wolverines lost to a team from the Mid-American Conference. That was a loss to Toledo. Michigan on top of Miami 17-10. Big Ten Network football brought to you by John Deere. getting ready to kick off our second half. Before we do, let's go down to the field and check in with Lisa Byington.
Eric, when I talked to Brady Hoke, he wanted to talk about one thing, and that's what he disliked. And obviously that was the turnovers and the 10 points off of turnovers. He said there's a common thread, and it's a problem. We had mental errors last week against Notre Dame. I see some of the same mental errors again this week. I also spoke to Miami's Chuck Martin, and he reminded me, hey, we have lost 18 straight games. We are a fragile football team, whether we are ahead or behind. But I'm going to remind my team, the pressure is not on us to win. I'm going to remind our guys the pressure is over on the other sideline.
Good point. Thank you so much, Lisa. Michigan will start on defense to begin the third quarter. Marcus Ray, you are a 4-year starter, defensive backfield for Michigan. How would you rate the performance defensively for the Wolverines so far this afternoon?
I would give the defense a B+ right now. I give them a B+ because they've responded when the offense turned the ball over. And that's something that people don't take into account. When you play defense, they look at stats, they look at yards and points, but this defense has responded, even though they were playing on a short field. To only give up 10 points after 3 turnovers, kudos to Greg Madison.
Also important to remember, defensively, the Wolverines playing without Ramon Taylor, Jared Wilson, and Desmond Morgan, all not in uniform. Touchback. Maybe we'll start on offense before they do. Let's take a look at the Quicken Loans quarterback comparison.
Right here you see Andrew Hendricks, 7 of 15. He's a tough kid. He's standing in the pocket. That Michigan front four is getting after him, flushing him out of the pocket. But we've seen him make some amazing throws. Gardner, who's a pretty accurate quarterback, still 8 of 13. Just needs to take care of the football and make the right throws. His interception was a tip pass, but Devin still needs to play better football.
Delano Hill starts the second half in one of the safety spots. He played the ball for the first half in the place of Jared Wilson. And a deep completion to Jared Murphy. Got ahead of Delano Hill, and that's a pickup of 24 yards.
Excellent throw and catch here. Look at Hendricks move his feet in the pocket, get into the open window, throw the ball. Jared Murphy with a big-time grab. You see Delano Hill getting some action. He suffered an injury before the season started. Good to see him out there, but he's going to have to tighten up his coverage.
That's the biggest play of the afternoon for the Redhawks. Paul Moses, true freshman tailback. They fake it to him, and Hendricks, that's not what he does. Stumbles down right at the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up second down, and probably 11. I think he lost a yard.
Hendricks has shown that he can make plays with his feet, and they run a lot of quarterback power where they fake it. The quarterback will run it behind a pulling offensive line. Right there, it didn't work, but that is in their offensive game plan.
Jabril Peppers, true freshman, checks into the game for the first time here in the second half. He wears number 5 for Michigan. There he is. Didn't play a week ago against Notre Dame, but got a lot of play time in our first half. Redhawks actually picked on him a bit. And again, a designed run. Hendricks gets to the 47-yard line. Pickup of 5. It'll bring up third down.
That's the quarterback power play I was talking about, where Hendricks will keep it, follows an offensive lineman, good open field tackle. Peppers, Delano Hill, helmet comes off. But now that gives Miami a chance to keep Michigan's defense honest, slow down that pressure, and let's see if they can convert on third down.
DeMonte Thomas, number 25, has to check into the game at one of the safeties because Hill's helmet is on. Play clock down to 5. Hendricks, pass is incomplete. Wow, what a lick laid down. That pass was almost complete for a pickup of close to 20, but there's some hitting going on.
Yeah, it's getting physical on the back end. Another great throw by Hendricks. If that ball isn't tipped by Joe Bowden, that right there's another big completion. Give David Frazier some credit for not being afraid to go across the middle. Be careful, that could have been a helmet-to-helmet penalty on the back end.
It was DeMonte Thomas who just checked in, who hit the receiver really hard. Fair catch called for and made at the 14-yard line by Norfleet. 35-yard kick.
That was a big stop, big possession coming out of the half for the Michigan defense. Any points by Miami right there would have put more pressure on this Michigan defense.
Michigan, Marcus, you mentioned it earlier today. You think 450 total yards is the magic number. They're almost halfway there. Derek Green, real solid first half. Gets out to the 20-yard line. In the middle, blocking up in front of him, the tight end, Jake Butt. Nice to see Jake Butt getting a lot of snaps. He was limited a week ago against Notre Dame, but he is playing a whole heck of a lot more this afternoon. Sophomore out of Pickerington, Ohio. That's the Columbus area.
My neck of the woods, Southeast Columbus. Jake Butt played at a good high school program. 8 starts as a true freshman, had a big freshman year, 20 receptions, 235 yards, pair of scores.
Hurt his knee in the offseason, but has made a miraculous comeback. This time, not much doing for Green. Bottle up Jatarius Jones with the tackle. It'll bring up 3rd down and short.
Jones is a tough guy to block. When you look at him, he's 6'3", 245, so he's athletic, he can move. He's an undersized defensive end. But what he does well, he takes on offensive linemen at the point of attack. He's a strong kid, and he moves around. 11 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss. This kid can play football.
2 tight end formation. Michigan, play action. Pass is complete. Looking for the first down marker. It'll be a first down Wolverines. Amara Darbo gets 5.
Jones did an excellent job of forcing Devin Gardner to throw the football sooner than he wanted to, but Lowood, 23, was in coverage. Great throw and catch. Devin Gardner got it just over Jones's head. You have to be able to make plays in space. Darbo's having a big game so far. He just needs to protect the football. You see him still carrying it like a loaf of bread. When you get more hats to the football, bad things happen. Ball security is the word for Michigan.
With no Devin Funches, Darbo stepping up. 5 catches, 88 yards. Gardner steps up in the pocket, hit as he throws. Incomplete, may have been some contact. Quentin Rollins on the coverage. They really like this Rollins kid. He is a basketball player. He was a 4-year starter at the Miami basketball program, 2nd all-time in steals. But he's trying to play corner right now at the Division 1A level, and he's got some ball hawking tendencies.
And he has great feet. He's a great athlete. They picked him up in spring ball. He's been very productive so far this season. They love him. He's an upgrade at that position. But give Jimmy Rauscher some credit for getting that hit from Devin Gardner.
Take handoff, Gardner keeps it, full head of steam, and he goes backwards. Jarrell Jones met him with some force. It's a pickup of 8. But I think the Gardner's going to feel that hit for a while.
Textbook tackle by Jarrell Jones, number 27, face up, putting his eyes right on the football. Devin Gardner can't take too many blows like that, but that was a good zone read quarterback keep by Nussmeier and the Michigan offense. Devin Gardner, excellent run.
That time it was the Gardner that got planted.
How about that?
3rd down. Green probing. He's not going to get there. You like to see Michigan playing the power of football, but it doesn't pay off.
At this point, Miami knows that they can play with Michigan up front. And they're not intimidated by the stadium, the helmets. They're here to try to win a football game. Give those big guys, Mitch Winters, 99, some credit. All those guys up front playing hard. You've seen Albright make some plays. Michigan's offensive line is not getting the type of push you need on 3rd and short.
Miami has not won since 2012. They got the nation's longest losing streak at 18 consecutive. David Frazier knocked out of bounds at the 28-yard line. 9-yard return. A lot of good football to be played on BTN today. Later tonight, Penn State and Rutgers from Piscataway. Michigan hosting Military Appreciation Day today here at the Big House. Just a moment ago, Robert Fletcher, he was recognized as the veteran of the game at the age of 17. Robert Fletcher voluntarily joining the Army back in 1950. He was captured. He was a prisoner of war for close to 3 years. He has lived a productive, rich life since, and so wonderful to see him involved in today's festivities. 9.5 minutes remaining in our third quarter. Second offensive possession for Miami here in the second half.
Miami has figured out the play action pass up the middle and to try to find one of the tight ends or slot receiver in between the hashes is working for Miami. First down is very important.
Andrew Hendricks, the transfer from Notre Dame. He moves his tight end Alex Welch closer to the end of the line of scrimmage. Looks one way, throws the other, pass is complete. And thrown out of bounds by Jordan Lewis. David Frazier, another catch. Before the game began, Marcus Ray, you talked about the importance of creating turnovers defensively for Michigan.
Well, Michigan only created one so far, and that was on a deep ball. It was a jump ball. Jordan Lewis made a great play, but Miami said, hey, we don't have to go vertical anymore. We can work the intermediate stuff. And Michigan is showing their coverage too soon. That's why Miami is checking at the line, bringing the tight end in to protect Hendricks.
Third down. Pass incomplete. Great defense, Blake Countess. He was wrapped around Rokeem Williams. It'll be a 3 and out.
Great coverage by Countess last week on a 4th and 3, crucial 4th and 3. He got beat on this same exact play, but great coverage right there, getting your hand inside, ripping the football out. Ball should have been caught. When it hits your hands or your body, you should have caught the ball, but at the same time, great defense by Countess. This is something defensive back coach, cornerback coach Roy Manning talked about. Press coverage.
Countess 6 picks a year ago. None so far this season, but he is highly respected nationally. Cook. Short punt. Garbo, the up back, calls for the fair catch and makes it. Just a 32-yard punt. What can the Wolverines do on offense? We'll find out when we come back to Ann Arbor. The premiere of Big Ten Treasure Hunter is just 4 days away. Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on BTN. John Arcand, he goes all over looking for those Big Ten collectibles. Tries to find out how much they're actually worth. That's a whole bunch of Sports Illustrated covers. Marcus Ray, you were on the cover of a Sports Illustrated with a Wolverine jersey on. End around. This is Norfleet looking for an explosive play, and there it is. Norfleet thrown out of bounds, but a big gain on first down. 21 yards.
Yeah, the 5'7", 169-pound slot receiver out of Detroit. King High School. Excellent sell with the play action. Glasgow gets out, gets a great block. Norfleet has great speed, and these are the type of plays, explosion plays, that this offense needs, that Doug Nussmeier talked about. They had about 4 last week, but he said they need more, and there's one of them.
That's the first time that Norfleet has touched the football on a play from scrimmage. Gardner, quick hitter, Darbo, his 6th catch of the afternoon. That's right at the line of scrimmage, so no yardage picked up. But Darbo is emerging as a threat now with Devin Funchess not in the mix this afternoon.
Yeah, Darbo sat out all last year with the injury to his foot. Now he's getting a chance to showcase his skill. Michigan has a group of young wide receivers that are going to be pretty good. But if they're going to run that bubble screen, Chess Allen is going to have to get a better block on that play. Last week against Notre Dame, 2nd and 3, you miss a bubble block. Now you're in 3rd and 5, and it changed the entire drive.
Devin Funchess averaging 8 catches per game. Doesn't have the pads on this afternoon. Design quarterback keeper. Gardner trying to get to the edge. He gets a handful of yards. That'll bring up 3rd down and 7. Jay Maston credited with the tackle.
Good run support by Maston, 14. Getting downhill, reading his keys. That play right there is is designed to suck the defensive end inside, reading the dive or the fake to the tailback, and the quarterback pulls it. Those are the positive type plays Michigan wants to run on second down to at least get in the 3rd and 6 or a manageable down and distance.
3rd down back, Justice Hayes checks in. 4 receiver set. 5-man rush, and Gardner stays on his feet, looking for some help. And he throws late and incomplete. Would have been enough for the 1st down, but Darbo can't hang on.
Darbo's got to make that grab. Great call by Miami defensive coordinator Matt Pawlowski, bringing Lowood, the nickel back, off the edge, underneath the running back. Donlin does a great job, and he needs to maintain his contained responsibility. That's how Devin Gardner got outside. But give Gardner a ton of credit. Staying on his feet. He's a big and athletic kid. Great play. Michigan dodged the bullet right there.
David Frazier back deep, watches it go over his head. And that'll be a touchback. Norfleet, first man to get down there, trying to keep the ball in the field of play, and he couldn't do it. So, another punt of just 24 yards when you factor in the net. Miami's got the ball when we return. .58 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Michigan on top of Miami by 7. There's the Michigan Union. My partner Marcus Ray spent a good majority of his 4 years here in Ann Arbor.
Good old Michigan Union.
That in the library.
Of course. Of course. I spent the night in the library.
Hendricks tries to set up a screen. Doesn't work. These two schools have a shared history. How about this? Michigan and Miami, 2 of only 4 schools that have produced both a Super Bowl winning quarterback and a president of the United States.
How about that?
You got Gerald Ford, who also played football in Michigan.
Yes.
And Tom Brady as your quarterback. Miami's got Ben Roethlisberger.
Big Ben.
And Benjamin Harrison. How about that? I think he's the 23rd president of the United States.
2 very prestigious academic institutions as well.
For the people at home wondering, Maisie and Stanford also can claim having a Super Bowl winning quarterback and a president as alums. They want Scott getting a chance in the backfield. Picks up just a yard. Jake Ryan again, right in the middle of the pack, just learning how to play middle linebacker, but he's a force.
Yeah, he hasn't played middle linebacker since high school. But right there, that was a great feel. Reading his keys, getting downhill. He has to be a guy to get this defense going and help try to create some turnovers. And the play before, he did a great job of recognizing the screen play as well.
3rd down and 9.
Timeout. Michigan, their first 30-second timeout.
Wolverines call timeout. We'll be back to Ann Arbor in a moment. Michigan looking for something to cheer about. They need to stop right now. 3rd down and 9 for Miami. Redhawks only trailing the Wolverines by a score. This is a Miami team that hadn't won since 2012. They lost the nation-leading 18 consecutive football games.
Yeah, they got their last win a long time ago, but they have the right coach. Chuck Martin won a couple of national championships at Grand Valley State. He has his program headed in the right direction.
Miami's only converted 1 3rd down, and they're not going to complete this one. Almost intercepted by Lewis. Already a pick today for Jordan Lewis. This time, it slips through the fingers.
Yeah, the ball hit Lewis in a bad spot. Right in his hands. That would have been a glorified punt. Good coverage by the young corner. But you can't have your hands below your waist like a wide receiver. That's why they say some of these guys play defensive back, because of their hands. Good pressure on the quarterback on the perimeter. Ojemudia getting up the field. Forced a bad throw. Hendricks, he's staying in the pocket, still delivering some nice throws.
Charles Woodson make that play?
Oh, Charles runs that one all the way back. I would have got a good block for him. I would have had to tell Charles where the ball was going, though.
Fair catch is called for. It's a 43-yard punt, no return. Well, Wednesday, our national college football experts discuss the weekend's biggest stories. It's Big Ten football and beyond. Wednesday at noon, and again at 7 Eastern on BTN. I'm really looking forward to that game tonight. Conference game for the first time. We're going to see Rutgers and Penn State, two schools that go back a long time, but for the first time playing as members of the Big Ten Conference.
It's going to be a great atmosphere for college football. Rutgers playing well with Paul James. Then you have Christian Hackenberg and the James Franklin era beginning, and they've got their scholarships reinstated and postseason eligible. Should be a great game.
Nation missed to Penn State this week. Informed that they are allowed to go to a bowl game this year if they qualify. Gardner's pass. Oh, he was bailed out. Jake Butt with the catch. That was a pass that was really soft and a potential pickoff, but instead Butt with the grab and a pickup of 22.
Hey, they say it's better to be lucky than good, but look at Jake Butt coming off the knee injury. Focused on the ball. Lowood missed another opportunity to make a play, but this offense needs Jake Butt. When you move punches from tight end out to the wide receiver, they were missing a threat in the middle of their offense, and that's where Jake Butt comes in.
First catch today for a Michigan tight end or running back. It's been exclusively wide receivers. Speed sweep to Smith. Davion Smith breaks the tackle and picks up 11 yards.
Michigan likes to run that outside zone with Smith because once he turns his shoulders, gets up the field, he's a big load to try to bring down. Good lead blocking right there for the Wolverines. Excellent downfield tackle by Mitch Winters, defensive lineman, turning and running to the football. But Michigan has to run the ball more effectively. Now they're in that pre-red zone area. Let's see if they can cut down on the miscues.
You take a shot here, Marcus.
Definitely take a shot, especially with the single coverage at the top.
Look at that, taking a shot. They got the tight end. It'll be a touchdown. Jake Butt. That's how you take a shot.
That's how you take a shot. Jake Butt did a great job.
You gotta know when to take a shot. And Doug Nussmeier, he does a thing of beauty on that play call.
Excellent play call. Jake Butt did a great job of selling his fake block. It was just a scissors route on the outside, but it was a great job. Defense got confused in man-to-man coverage. Jake Butt came scot-free.
The most impressive drive of the afternoon for the Michigan Wolverines. They go 63 yards on only 3 plays. The last 2 to Jake Butt. Butt is back.
Take a look at the replay. Butt goes in motion. See the press coverage on the perimeter. Butt acts like he's going to block on the bubble screen. Takes it deep. Excellent play call for Doug Nussmeier. Another one of those explosion plays. He's sick and tired of looking at the miscues in this area of the field. Great play call. Jake Butt acted like he was going to block that corner. And as a defensive back, in man-to-man coverage, you cannot take your eyes off of your receiver. Gardner likes that.
There has been a history of wonderful tight end play here at Michigan. You got Jake Butt now, but back in your era, Aaron Shea, Jeremy Tillman, Mark Campbell.
Out of all the tight ends I've seen in Michigan the last 25 years, my favorite is Jeremy Tillman. Played with Jeremy, longtime Pittsburgh Steeler. But you talk about Aaron Shea, Mark Campbell. We can go all the way back to Derek Walker, Tony McGee on the Rose Bowl team.
Yep.
I mean, Michigan is known for tight ends, but the running game, being able to run the football and then play action pass to the tight ends is where Michigan made their money at tight end.
I don't think you're allowed to mention Michigan tight ends and not say Jim Mandich, too.
Jimmy Mandich.
Oh, yeah. Dajuan Scott takes the knee. It'll be a touchback. And Miami reeling right now. This is their largest deficit of the afternoon. The offense has picked a terrible time to stall. Take a look at the last 5 possessions. In that mix, a grand total of 1 first down achieved by the Red Hawks.
Yeah, Michigan's defense right now is tightening up their bolts and screws, getting after it, getting some pressure in the face of Hendricks. We're going to find out a lot about this Miami offense right now. This is a huge possession.
Showing blitz. Hendricks tackled from behind. Frank Clark, the senior from Cleveland. That's a gain of 4 yards for Hendricks.
See, what makes Frank Clark so difficult to block is he gets up the field. He beats Buchanan with the up and under move with his arms, but he's so athletic. That's why NFL scouts are reeling over Frank Clark, because of his athleticism and his first step.
Former Glenville Tar-Blooder. They fake the sweep. Hendricks takes it right up the gut and uses that 221-pound frame. That's just the second first down picked up by Miami in their last 6 possessions, a gain of 8.
Well, the way you keep Michigan's defense off balance is to fake it, play action, misdirection runs, fake the jet sweep. Linebackers flowed with the jet sweep. Quarterback keep up the middle. That's their #1 run play.
Michigan playing without Ramon Taylor at one of the corners, Jared Wilson at one of the safeties. It's been that way all afternoon long. Spencer McKinnis with the carry. Jake Ryan, another tackle, pick up a 4.
The interior line for Miami is blowing Michigan off the ball right at the point of attack. Ryan Monet, number 90, he's going to have to step up, plug the middle, and stay in his gap. Give the center, Marcus Matthews, number 75, a lot of credit.
Terry Davis has just checked into the game as one of the guards now for Miami. Second down at 6. Hendricks wants a bunch, throws it up for grabs. It is caught. Another big play, David Frazier inside the 30.
That's what Frazier does best. He had a long of 47 yards going into this game. Michigan brought a cornerback blitz off the edge. Now you have a safety in Jeremy Clark, who's not used to really playing that technique as a safety. When you blitz a corner, now the safety has to go over top. But that's what Miami wants to do, is go vertical and get those matchups. Great play for the Miami Redhawks. When you bring pressure, Eric, you better get home. And I'll tell you that as a former defensive back. We don't like to cover for a long time if you're not going to get home as a defensive lineman.
There's a flinch. I think that's on Colin Buchanan.
False start. Offense. Number 72. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Second time right there for Buchanan. The false start. Taco Charlton lines up. Third penalty. Buchanan. Michigan's defensive ends are athletic, and they get off the ball quickly. But he still has to stay in his stance, trust the cadence and the snap count.
First and 15. Frank Clark on the tackle of Spencer McKinnis after a gain of 2. Second down and long.
Play calling for Miami is going to be crucial in this area of the field. Second and 2 sticks. Good play on first down. Now they're spreading Michigan out, which creates run lanes right off tackle. Now those tackles can get up second level. That's why Miami's having a little bit of success running the ball up the middle with this spread formation. Michigan doesn't have 8 guys in the box. Now they only have 6.
Little shovel out to Dajuan Scott, full head of steam. And he's tackled. Jabril Peppers. Reckless. He just comes flying up with that body and will hit the first thing he sees.
Hey, he shot out of there like a cannon. Peppers is not afraid to tackle. That's the one thing I like about Peppers coming out of high school. He's physically gifted. He has it all. He has the body, the speed, and most importantly, he's a smart kid. But he's awfully tough. And he's a guy that can bring the pain if he squares up on you.
We've played 3 quarters here in Ann Arbor. Still a game. Michigan on top of Miami, 24-10. Getting ready to start our 4th quarter here at the Big House. Don't forget Penn State and Rutgers coming up later tonight, right here on BTN. Kevin Kugler and Glenn Mason are standing by. Guys, what should we expect?
They're calling it the biggest game in Rutgers history. It's been sold out for months, but Glenn Mason, a tough task for Rutgers as they open up their play in Big Ten Conference play because they've got Christian Hackenberg on the other side of the ball.
Quarterback Christian Hackenberg, hard to imagine he's only a sophomore. A lot of people around the country think he may just be the best true passing quarterback in the country. For Rutgers, you can't let him stand back there all night or he'll just rip you.
All right, well, you're the coach. How do they do that? How do they keep him from ripping you apart?
Well, he's a great passer, but Christian Hackenberg really doesn't like to pull the ball down and run. So if I'm Joe Rossi, the defensive coordinator, I'm not going to worry about contain. I'm going to dream up some exotic blitzes, and I'm going to get after them.
You can really feel the excitement here as we close in on kickoff. Pregame at 7 o'clock Eastern, kickoff at 8 o'clock Eastern. Now we head back to Ann Arbor and Eric Collins.
Guys, thank you so much. We will be watching conference action here. Just week 3 of the college football season. Should be fun. First play of our fourth quarter now. 3rd down and 9. Miami try to get some offense going. This could be 4-down territory, down by 14 points. Let's see how they play it. Rushes on. Hendricks just throws it up. No one in particular just had to get rid of it. He was under some big-time duress. It's now 4th down and 10. And they are going to go for it, it appears.
Great blitz by Michigan, right up the middle. There was miscommunication on the outside between Hendricks and his wide receiver.
4th down.
Joaquin Williams at the top. He's a big play guy.
And a timeout called by the Red Hawks.
Timeout, Miami.
We'll take the timeout with him. A big 4th down when we come back. After the timeout, nothing's changed. Miami's still going to go for it. 4th down and 9.
I expect Greg Madison to bring some more pressure. Once again, Miami struggled the last couple of weeks with edge blitzes. Look for a nickelback blitz off the edge to try to isolate the tackle, fan him out. But Michigan likes to send pressure off the double edge, something Miami has struggled with in 2014.
Joe Bolden and Jake Ryan close to the line of scrimmage. Neither of them come, and there's a flag.
False start. Offense. Number 84. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And that's the veteran tight end, Alex Welch. Bottom of your screen, yep, 84 with the flinch. That is the 6th pre-snap penalty for Miami. Before the ball's even snapped, penalties called against Miami.
And Frank Clark lined up. Once again, that matchup favors Michigan's defense. Clark versus Welch.
4th and 14. Hendricks' pass skips in front of the receiver. It'll be Michigan football.
Byer getting a big hit on the quarterback. Byer's playing well this season. Comes free on the defensive line stunt right up the middle. It's a solid hit on the quarterback, and without Byer in that throwing lane, that's probably a completion. Hendricks still got the football off. Ball fell short, but Byer, that defensive line stunt where the defensive end comes underneath the tackle, right down the middle of the offense, forced a bad throw.
Michigan, last time they had the football, 3 consecutive explosive plays resulting in a touchdown to Jake Butt. Green. Sophomore from Richmond, Virginia, barrels forward. Jay Maston brings him down. Our John Deere Gator game changer, Jake Butt. Nifty with the feet, coming back from knee surgery, showing you he's still got it.
Yeah, Jake Butt runs great routes. He has great hands, and he's a leader. He is one of the leaders of this football team. When he hurt his knee in the offseason, he was on time every day, coming to work, ready to go, encouraging guys, and he wasn't even on the field. He is one of the leaders of this offense.
Green. All right, Mark, guess I want to ask you. Take me in the Wayback Machine. Jake Butt. Real good guy. Tremendous player. Does he remind you of anyone you played with? You mentioned Aaron Shea, Mark Campbell, Jeremy Tooman. Any of those three that you see a similarity with Jake Butt?
Jake Butt is a combination between Jeremy Tooman and Mark Campbell. And I'd say that because Tooman was a great route runner, but Campbell was a better blocker. I think Jake Butt is a good mesh, a good blend between the two. An old school Michigan tight end.
102 yards now for Green. Adding on to that total. Breaks a tackle at the line. And Green inside the 40 before Jones brings him down. So after a stinker a week ago against Notre Dame, Green back over 100 yards again.
Glasgow with the great block to seal block to open that hole. Braden with the kick out. Excellent vision by Derek Green. His feet look a lot quicker versus last season. And now he's 18 rushes, 119 yards. He's a downhill guy. His confidence is extremely high right now, but the right side of that offensive line did an excellent job.
He's a psychology major and had to use that major to get some bad mojo out of his head after a tough game against Notre Dame. He is held to just 25 yards rushing against the Fighting Irish, but that came on the heels of just a terrific game against Appalachian State in week 1.
See Jack Miller with the downfield block, Green with the excellent cut. Poor run support by Appalachian State, but right here, look at the block. Wide receivers, Coach Hecklinski, Michigan's wide receiver coach, coaches that. Look at the true freshman, Mason Cole, getting an excellent block for Davion Smith. When Michigan has big plays in the run game, it's because they get second level on those linebackers and they block other guys up front one-on-one. And these wide receivers do an excellent job.
Timeout. Michigan, their second.
Play clock was down at 3 seconds. Wolverines call their second timeout. Now one of the great football cathedrals in the country, Schembechler Hall. Bo Schembechler, the statue out in front, and this has just got a wonderful new look to it. It's just it's a living museum to Michigan football. All the wonderful players, every single ball from the wins over the years, 911 of them in Michigan football history. Such a rich tradition of football excellence here in Ann Arbor. With Marcus Ray and Lisa Byington, I'm Eric Collins. A jump pass from Gardner to Butt. He's going to be close to the first down marker. It'll bring up third down and short. Nate Gerbis on the tackle after a pickup of 8. The announced attendance this afternoon, 102,824. 253 consecutive games over 100,000. You have to go back to October of 1975. The last time 100,000 people were not shoehorned into this building.
That is a record that probably is going to go on for a long time. 40 years. Almost 39 years.
October 25th, 1975, when Indiana rolled into town. Derek Green tackled by Gerbis again.
It's good short yardage defense by the Red Hawks. 2 guys penetrating in the backfield. Green stayed alive, moving the chains. Don't be surprised if Michigan takes a shot at the end zone right here. Same way they did with Jake Butt earlier on the big touchdown pass, just to eliminate the possibility of turning the ball over or making a mistake.
Michigan turning the ball over 3 times in the first half.
Run, run, run!
Green runs into that wall. Gerbis again calling his name quite a bit. Gerbis and Jarrell Jones combine on the tackle. A pickup of 3.
It's good run defense on first down for the Red Hawks. We saw Jones with the textbook tackle earlier, putting his face on the football. Coaches say he works hard, practices well. He's a senior. Columbus, Ohio.
He went to the same high school as Trey Burke.
Northland High School.
You talk about athletic royalty here in Ann Arbor.
I used to coach at Northland.
Oh, goodness. An extra layer right there. Play action. Gardner trying to get to the edge. He does. Look at that speed. 6'4", 216 pounds, and he outruns everybody.
Yeah, I think people tend to forget that Gardner's a fairly good athlete. He can run. He's a former wide receiver. He knows what to do with the football when it's in his hands. Every now and then, quarterback keep, naked bootleg, where the quarterback fakes it on one side and gets around the other side. Those play calls in the red zone keep a defense honest and sometimes catches them off guard.
Last drive full of explosive plays. This time a methodical, patient drive for the Wolverines. Green trying to get to the pylon. There he goes. Touchdown, Michigan. Green is good. Another touchdown for the Wolverines. And they now have a 20-point bulge on the Redhawks.
Excellent block by Eric Magnuson. Allowing Derek Green, showing his speed to hit the perimeter. Derek Green is really warming up.
Derek Green was coached. You see the way he switched hands with that football?
Yes, he did.
Moved it from his right hand to his left hand to keep it away from the defense.
There you go.
Close to the sideline. Someone got to that young man at an early age and said, this is how you do it.
Fullback Joe Carriage with another great block. Freddie Canteen down in there. Michigan offense. Touchdown.
Football on BTN is brought to you by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today. And by MFS Investment Management.
21 unanswered points for the Michigan Wolverines. Derek Green has been nails this afternoon. Well over 100 yards. And Michigan seemingly in control. On that last drive alone, Michigan had 5 first downs. Miami all game long. They've had a grand total of 7. Frazier starts from the 3-yard line. This is Scott, and Scott out to the 29. Let's go down to the field and check in with Lisa Byington. Lisa.
Eric, Derek Green, a difference maker here today, and partly because he decided to make a difference in his diet in the offseason. Derek Green now listed at 220. That wasn't always the case when he was at Michigan. Pictures tell all. How about this? He was 240 when he 248. This is from his Instagram page. 27% body fat. He's now at 220, 9% body fat. He has cut out things like chocolate in his diet, and as a chocolate lover, that is impressive to me. It's been a year, he says, since he's had chocolate.
Ball comes loose late, but Andrew Hendricks was down. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, you should have seen the way that Mr. Green was looking at me yesterday. We were talking to him, and I just happened to be munching on a chocolate chip cookie. And I don't think he appreciated that.
Yeah, he said he likes seafood primarily and eats salads. But give Aaron Wellman, head strength and conditioning coach at Michigan, a ton of credit. A lot of these guys for the Michigan Wolverines have changed their body composition.
Our Duluth Trading hardest working player is indeed the hard-working Mr. Green, and it's obviously not just on the field. It's in June. It's in February. It's off-season, getting right so you can perform in September, October, and November.
Yeah, I think he took a look at his body a year ago and said, I want to do better. I want to play better. Many people thought he came to training camp out of shape last year as a highly recruited freshman. He took it upon himself, showed the maturity to lose weight, eat the right kinds of foods, lift weights, and work out this summer, and now you see the results.
Third down, throwing on the run. Hendricks is going to have a first down. Alex Welch. That's the former Fighting Irish combination combined for the first catch for Alex Welch today.
First down for the Redhawks. Offense has been struggling, but Hendricks does a great job of getting on the perimeter, and that's their favorite route. It's a 5-yard out. See Taco Charlton in coverage.
Welch had to leave the game after making that catch. Hendricks escapes pressure. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. Taco Charlton was in pursuit. Later tonight, the final drive brings you all the highlights from this game and the entire day around the conference. The final drive tonight at 11 o'clock Eastern time on BTN.
Charlton lost contain on that play. And Chuck Martin has been very impressed with his senior quarterback because he gets rid of the football. When pressure comes, he either throws it away or he tucks and runs. You saw him get out of bounds right there.
Moses bends forward, tries to stretch the ball, and it comes out. That was not wise. He was stretching the ball out like he was trying to cross the goal line, trying to get it up a couple extra inches, and almost turned it over.
That was a great run. Once all the bodies start to collapse on the football, better keep two hands on that football. He stretched it out. Devontae Thomas knocking the ball loose. That's poor ball security. When you're in traffic, you can't lie on your back and stretch the ball over your head. You're asking for trouble. Great job of getting it back for the Red Hawks.
Devontae Thomas hadn't played a whole bunch, but when he has, we've called his name. Two-handed carry there, McInnes, and he's tripped up at the line. Fourth down. I'm assuming Miami's going to go for it, right? Right at midfield?
I would assume so. Safe assumption. They're down 21. You see the punt team running on the field. But you don't want to give this Michigan offense the ball on the 50-yard line either.
We assumed wrong. Christian Cook to kick it away. Darbo and Norfleet back deep as per usual for the Wolverines. So, what kind of drive will we see out of the Wolverines? An explosive drive like we saw 2 drives ago, or a methodical drive like we saw the last time out?
Dave Refson, Jerry DiNardo, Howard Griffith with you. As soon as the game is over, don't forget, it is the Auto Owners Insurance pregame live from Rutgers. We will have complete coverage leading up to this one. Some great guests for you, including Hall of Famer Franco Harris from Penn State. Rutgers legend Marco Battaglia joins us as well. The game captains Eric LeGrand and Adam Talaferro, who share a very special bond. And Jerry looks inside the world of Ralph Friedgen. That's coming up.
A full day of Big Ten football concludes tonight. Rivals meeting as conference foes for the first time. Christian Hackenberg and Penn State taking on Paul James and Rutgers. That's tonight, 6:30 Eastern time on BTN and BTN to go. Special live pregame show from the stadium. Dave, Howard, and Jerry are all out there in New Jersey to get you ready. It's going to be a lot of fun. Big game environment out there at Rutgers. New quarterback Shane Morris hands off to Smith, and Smith with his best run of the day out to the 35-yard line. Pickup of 16 yards for the sophomore from Warren, Ohio. This game was close. At the break, it was a 17-10 lead for Michigan. Here in the second half, just the power, the strength, the precision of the Wolverines too much.
Yeah, it was definitely too much, and you see those 10 points on the board. Those came off of turnovers. So now, at this point, they're saying, let's just hand the ball off and run. We don't want Devin Gardner to throw any bad passes or anything like that, but he really took control of the game and managed it in the second half.
Morris, another handoff to Smith. Let's finish off the day for Devin Gardner. What did you like? What still needs to be tuned up from him?
What I liked about Devin Gardner is he made plays with his feet. I think he really tried to execute Doug Nussmeier's game plan, play action on first down, knowing when to throw, knowing when to run. His interception came off of a tip pass. Let's be honest. He still was some traffic right there, but I think that he matured today. Devin Gardner got better, and as you see Shane Morris in the game now, he's been a thorn in Devin's side in competition, if you will. So Gardner knows he's not safe, and he has to play at a high level.
Shane Morris, the sophomore, played a bit last year. He started a bowl game. Quarterback keeper and Morris looking agile down that sideline, pushed out of bounds.
See, the the athleticism. He's deceptively athletic. Saw a play like this in the bowl game. Good zone read kick. Morris gets out of bounds, doesn't take any shots. This kid can help this Michigan offense in a lot of ways. With his arm, he's a smart kid. The future looks bright at quarterback for the University of Michigan.
Only the third true freshman to start a bowl game at quarterback for Michigan. The other two, Rick Leach.
Ricky the Peach Leach.
And Chad Henne. Smith. Tackled by Jay Maston. Under 4 minutes to play. Looking ahead, Michigan, they're going to have to dial it up. They've got Utah next on the schedule. That'll be their 4th and final non-conference game.
The Utes are going to walk into this stadium and expect to win. They're going to watch this tape and say, we can probably throw the ball down the field on Michigan's defense. We can create some turnovers. Utah's having a pretty good year. But the Michigan Wolverine defense stepped up in the second half. That should be a great game.
Morris, the lefty. His pass is dropped. Keith Heitzman, the converted defensive lineman, had an opportunity. And it slips right through the wicket.
Excellent throw. Shane Morris, look at his release, the way he whips it. Heitzman just didn't look.
I'm going to ask you.
Look the ball in.
All season long, Heitzman in practice for the most part is getting passes from a right-handed throwing Devin Gardner.
Okay.
That had a different spiral on it. Is that a factor at all when you get a lefty as opposed to a righty?
No, that's a non-factor. You can't make any excuses. He formed a breadbasket. The ball hit him in a bad spot, right in the hands.
I'm hoping for a Christmas card for Keith Heitzman. Justice Hayes has been rock solid today, trying to get to the edge. He gets there. First down, Michigan. They can bleed more clock. Let's go down to Lisa Byington.
Miami always has a strong connection to the University of Michigan, producing one of the greatest coaches in Michigan history in Bo Schembechler and one of the greatest rivals in Woody Hayes. And there's a connection, too, that Brady Hoke was telling us about. There was an event in Dayton, Ohio, and he was an assistant coach at Western Michigan. Now, Woody Hayes was to introduce Bo Schembechler at this event, and this photo was taken at that event. Now, Woody was really sick at the time, so sick that the ambulance had to drive him to the event just so he could introduce Bo Schembechler. Brady Hoke said Woody Hayes passed 2 days after that event, and that photo you see there is from Brady Hoke's office. He keeps it in a very special place.
Thank you, Lisa. Into the end zone, dropped, almost a touchdown for Chesson. You talk about great coaches in this college game, and Miami, they call themselves the cradle of coaches for good reason. Woody Hayes was a head coach there. He coached Bo Schembechler. Eric Parsegian was a coach there. John Pont was a coach there, a more recent vintage. John Harbaugh was a player there, of course, won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. There's been a lot of wonderful things over the years down in Oxford, Ohio. Randy Walker, former Northwestern head coach, coached and played at Miami University as well. Second down and 10. Hayes. Flag is down.
Hayes is probably the fastest of the three between Smith and Green. He's a change-up of speed.
Holding. Offense. Number 92. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Right there, number 92, Heitzman. Can't grab the jersey. You have to keep your hands inside. 2 bad plays for Heitzman. He doesn't get a lot of playing time. He had the 1 drop pass. Now he gets the penalty.
Have you looked at the scoreboard lately, my friend? Right now, as we speak, Michigan with exactly 450 yards of total offense. Beginning of the game, you said that's the magic number. Now they can't go backwards here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we're going to need a measurement. We're going to need a measurement.
And it's third down, too. 450 yards. And the reason I say that is because when Michigan posts 400 yards of offense, they're 18 out of 22 wins versus, you know, they've won 18 out of 22 games when they get 400 yards at home. And they're a different football team at home than they are on the road. They average close to 40 points, 23 on the road. And they're just a different team. They need to bottle up that energy and find a way to take that type of offensive production on the road with them.
Third down at 17, conservative play call. Justice Hayes tackled at the 24-yard line. And the ball comes out late, but they're going to say that Hayes was down. And the clock continues to run. I don't think that Michigan will attempt a field goal here. So it's just going to be another play from scrimmage for the Wolverine offense. Just in case you're wondering, plays like that, end of the game, under a minute remaining, when a couple of scores are the difference, they call that competitive effect. And the replay officials, for the most part, just gloss over that. And the clock continues to move.
Tom, they get in victory formation and take a knee.
Timeout, Michigan. Their third and final timeout. 30-second timeout.
Just another reminder, folks. It's going to be an important night around the conference. Rivals meeting as conference foes for the first time tonight at 6:30. Christian Hackenberg and Penn State. Paul James, Gary Nova, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. They're going to be meeting in Piscataway, New Jersey. Special live pregame show from the stadium. Starts at 6:30 on BTN and BTN to go. A field goal. Matt Weil trying to get some confidence. He's already made one today. He's now got two. There was a reason for that. Brady Hoke and his coaching staff saying, you know what? Matt Weil, we're going to need him at some point. He's off to a slow start. Let's see if he can get it in game action right now, and he's 2 for 2 this afternoon.
Yeah, my hat goes off to Matt Weil for bouncing back and responding and making 2 field goals today after missing 2 field goals last week. 2 field goals that really altered the course of that football game. If Michigan gets on the scoreboard first, maybe that game goes a little bit differently. I'm not saying they win, but at least you put some pressure on the Notre Dame offense. But at this point, 2 field goals for Matt Weil.
And that's going to be a real interesting next 7 days. Devin Funches, you saw him without the pads. He is a huge part of this offense for Michigan. Will he be able to give it a go when Utah is here at the Big House?
That's a good...
We did see Amara Darbo have a nice day in his stead. But Funches, you just can't replicate that production that he gives you. It's Utah, and then the conference season starts here at home against Minnesota. And then it's out in Rutgers. That's a night game, October 4th. And then a game against Penn State before that October 18th time.
That's a tough slate ahead for the Wolverines. We talk about Utah, Minnesota's much improved. On the road at Rutgers. Michigan struggles on the road. James Franklin and company will be in the Big House. Night game.
Said Michigan struggles on the road. They're going to have road games in conference at Ohio State, at Michigan State.
That's a tall order in the Big Ten Conference for any team to play in those 2 stadiums.
First chance today for Kenny Allen to kick it off for Michigan. Dewan Scott. Still 10 seconds remaining.
We didn't see Fred McCraig today. He's normally Miami's kickoff return man. But Dewan Scott's very versatile. He can do it all. Used to be a running back. Now he's a jet sweep guy. He has great hands, very versatile. Miami coaches love number 5. Last year he led them in receiving yards, 425, second in rushing.
Now, final couple of plays. Andrew Coomer will be the quarterback for Miami. Spencer Treadwell, and that will be the final play of this afternoon's game. So, Michigan, they rebound from that loss a week ago against Notre Dame. They do a lot of good things. Running the football, they pick up 276 yards, the lion's share. Picked up by Derek Green. And after a closely contested first half, it is all Michigan here in the second half. Michigan, they outrush Miami 276 to 33. They have almost 9 times the amount of rushing yards as the Red Hawks do, and that's a certain recipe for success. Well, now that this game is in the books, let's get some thoughts from the happy head coach, Lisa Byington, standing by with Brady Hoke.
Well, Coach, getting a win here this week was important for you and this program. What was the biggest impression that your team gave you today?
Well, you know, as a coach, you look at negatives and the turnovers. You know, we can't do that. We're going to play a really good Utah team next week. And, you know, from the defensive standpoint, you know, I think they played really well against the rush. I think we were a little tighter on some coverages. And offensively, we ran the football. You know, Derek and Davion both did a nice job running the ball.
You mentioned the run game. You held them to 31 yards. Now back-to-back weeks where your defense have been impressive on that side of the ball. Biggest reason for that has been what?
Well, I think the kids, you know, the coach has done a good job recruiting guys who can hunker in there a little bit, and they're playing hard. I think the linebackers have a real good feel for the fits and all that. But, you know, everything changes as you go further along.
All right. Thank you for the time.
Thanks, Lisa.
Eric?
Lisa, thank you so much. Terrific job there down on the field. All right, so we're almost out of time here. Final thoughts, Marcus Ray, on what we saw.
Well, the Michigan football team did a great job of bouncing back after the turnovers. Their defense kept them in the game, but give the Red Hawks a lot of credit for forcing turnovers and getting points off those turnovers.
So Michigan now 2-1 in non-conference play. 34-10 the final. For Marcus Ray and Lisa Byington, I'm Eric Collins. Now let's go to the Auto Owners Insurance pregame show. Here's Dave, Howard, and Jerry.